Well, we started this trial essentially where you would expect. We went all the way back to 2015, and they brought in the caseworker from the Department of Children and Families who was assigned to this case ahead of Aaden Moreno, his death. So both attorneys agreed that they would have the chance to do direct examination of the DCF workers. We got a full picture of what was going on in June and early July of 2015. The estate for 7-month-old Aaden Moreno and the child's mother suing the state of Connecticut and the Department of Children and Families, claiming they were negligent in protecting Aaden ahead of his death. He was killed when he was thrown from the Arrigoni Bridge in Middletown by his father, Tony Moreno, July 5, 2015. The father was convicted of murder and is currently serving 70 years behind bars. Attorneys for the mother and the estate are arguing DCF was aware of prior threats made by Moreno against the baby and his mother, a potential history of domestic violence, prior criminal charges, and a temporary restraining order in place. They argue that history, coupled with lapsing restraining orders and denial of a new one, meant DCF should have stepped in to protect Aaden.
So your testimony is, despite knowledge of all of those things, DCF had no concerns with Aaden being in the custody of Mr. Moreno.
Correct.
They argue as the baby was about to enter into the father's custody, following the lapse of the restraining order, the baby's mother expressed concerns for her and Aaden's safety. Attorneys for the family argue a safety assessment and face-to-face contact with Tony Moreno wasn't done before he took custody of Aaden. Moreno took custody of the baby July 3rd, and the baby was killed 2 days later, according to testimony. The state arguing DCF followed necessary protocol and procedure, and although some concerns were present, they didn't rise to the level of extreme intervention, like removal of Aaden.
Aaden was never at harm of imminent danger. He was always in the care of his mom. He always appeared happy and content. There was always food in the house. He had appropriate bedding.
The caseworker also noting a meeting was scheduled with both the baby's mother and father together, but Aaden was killed before that meeting happened. The caseworker explaining her decisions were based on experience and contact with the mother and baby, submitting she could have never anticipated this outcome.
I was shocked.
Was this something that you anticipated?
No.
Now, the back half of the day was spent with an expert witness that was brought in by the family specifically to argue that there was to argue that the DCF failed to fully protect Aaden at the time of his death. We're expected to be here in Waterbury Court for the majority of this week and potentially early next week as well. We're live in Waterbury. Kevin Geis, NBC Connecticut News. Guys, back to you.